Hello and welcome to a new thing that I'm trying because I'd heard of this game for ages. In fact, Circon played it a little while ago, probably a couple of months ago at this point. But yeah, it's just reached a point where there's like a critical mass of people saying, "Hey, Warframe's pretty good," and I've gotten to the stage of, okay, well, I'll give it a go. And you know, having tried it out over the last 2 days. Yeah, it seems alright, actually. Although that comes with some caveats, because obviously I've just started playing it. And it is, you know, it's a free-to-play game, so therefore the grind is very much real. But it has that reputation as being a free-to-play game where the devs aren't out to own your soul. Now this is going to be, like, I don't know how this is going to hold up in terms of OBS. Like, it actually does run pretty well, I've got to say. I've fiddled with some of the settings, so it's not 100% like top quality settings, but it's mostly like the highest graphics level it could be for a lot of the settings. But I've turned down the anti-aliasing a bit and a couple of other little things to make it a little bit easier, because there was 1 or 2 levels earlier, even when I was just playing it, where the FPS did drop at points if there was particularly a lot going on at any one time. So Warframe, yeah, it's basically Space Ninja Simulator. You have control of one of these things. You get to pick out a 1 or 3 at the start. It's a bit like Pokemon. You pick your starting Pokemon. And every suit, I don't know what to call it exactly, every Warframe has its own abilities, and I chose the... Can I do it? No, I can't actually do it. I can do that, but I can't zap inside my own spaceship. Anyway, this guy's called like Volt or something, and he zaps things as his ability. But I also picked the... you can see I've got a bow there, and I've got a quarterstaff kind of thing. I've not actually spent, like, I bought some of the premium currency. I've already even done that, but I haven't actually spent any of it yet. I plonked down like £16 because it seemed like, just on the reputation alone of this game, which might be completely silly, but I plonked down like £16 just to see how it is. So, yeah, we're going to do, like, just some rounds, basically. One thing I have picked up already is that, like, the weapons I've got are quite suited for stealth killing. And I think the first time you go through a lot of these levels, because you can do it, you know, it's a co-op game, basically. You can have up to 4 people, but I'm going to, like, you can play it solo as well. I'm going to play it solo to begin with, but I have just been doing public matchmaking to see how that goes. The thing with public matchmaking is everybody's racing through, because how you grind this game is you've got to grind for materials, you've got to grind for blueprints. And so you just do the same kind of missions over and over and over again. And I can see why people just absolutely whiz through them as fast as possible, because they're just trying to get the stuff that they need and get out the other side. But I'm still at that stage of, you know, wanting to poke around the levels a bit, wanting to explore a bit. You can't really do that when there's other people waiting impatiently for you at the exit. I'm using oh, this is a story mission, by the way. I'm using the PC Xbox controller I've got for this, so I find it a lot easier for moving characters around, but my aim might be a bit skew at times, because I've had to tweak the sensitivity settings a little bit. And it does that annoying thing that a lot of video games do, where they have the option to invert the various axes, and I usually do invert the Y-axis when I'm playing with a controller. But it means that it just inverts the mouse axis at the same time as well. Also, by the way, tell me what the sound levels are like. I've turned it down a bit, but I honestly don't know how it is. So you guys will have to tell me. Let's see. Actually, make the chat window a little bit bigger. It looks like it's holding up all right in the preview window. So, oh, let's see. Anyway, so yeah, it's all right. I can see. Who's shooting at me? That's just rude. Who's shooting at me? Who's shooting at me? You're shooting at me. I don't approve. Right. Also, what the heck is going on here? Yeah. So I'm just following leads. There's all kinds of like story missions, basically, but
Onko wasn't the only one.
Yeah, I was completely not paying attention to what that was, but apparently that was the thing that we needed to do. So, yeah, you have the story missions, but you can also, like, you can play it fairly freeform as well. You can just pick and choose which things you want to do at which times. But, so I'm going to try and be a bit sneaky about this, because I can, but if I was playing with other players, they'd just be completely rushing through this right now. And, you know, stealth is not, when you're doing it co-op, stealth is not really an option, because people are just trying to get through it absolutely as quickly as possible. So if you want to go stealthy, sneaky, you've got to play with a group of people that you can, you know, that will do that with you, that you can communicate with directly, or else you just have to play it solo. But that's perfectly viable. It's one of those games where they, oh, I've been spotted, they scale the difficulty, just basically the number of enemies that there are, based on, oh, and they put an alarm on, but that's fine, we can actually, this little hacking minigame thing. They scale the difficulty based on how many human players, so if there's like 4 human players, there's going to be way more enemies to deal with, so it scales up in that way. Because I'm still at the low levels, everything is fairly easy to deal with at the moment anyway. So anyway, this is my bow, which is, it's a bit like the railway gun from Fallout 4. It pins them to the wall, it's ridiculous. But there's also actual guns as well. Like, this isn't all sneaky bows and arrows and ninja stuff. This is just one of the many weapon options that are in this game. And I happen to be enjoying this. Now, I don't think I actually could have any other guns at the moment without spending some actual money, spending some of the platinum that I bought. So I'm kind of holding off on that until I know what's what, but I definitely will be at some point. And the £16 I bought is actually, like, there's a huge amount of cosmetic stuff in this game. Huge amount of cosmetic options. So, like, I could buy 13 or 14 just purely cosmetic things, like unlocking new colours or unlocking armour, kind of decorative armour segments. I have no idea where I'm going, by the way. I'm probably supposed to be following the thing, but I'm just exploring. I just want to explore a bit. So yeah, there's all kinds of like cosmetic options, and the colouring I've put on there is just like, it gives you some by default anyway, so you do get some options. But if you want to unlock the entire colour palette, you've got to spend some money to do so. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff there to spend money on. You can spend money to skip past forward certain things, because it's got that mechanic that like certain Facebook games and mobile games have, where, you know, you have to go away and wait 2 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours for something to actually manufacture or unlock or whatever. Oh, it's telling me there's a thing there that I missed. An Ayatan Cyan Star. I have no idea what that is, but apparently I can pick it up. Also, that's just a security console. Oh, I think this is some new enemies that have spawned. The gaff's a bit blown at the moment, but even though they know I'm here, apparently that's a different state from if the alarm is going. Because if the alarm is going at that point, I think you just have a lot more enemies to deal with. Ooh. Am I in? That good. There's a small amount of lock-on assist when you're using a controller, but it's easier at longer ranges than so silly that it pins them to the wall. It's easier at longer ranges than close up, but you know, you start off with, you've got your melee, you've got your ranged weapon, and then you essentially get a pistol slot weapon as well, which in my case, actually switch over, is a bunch of throwing knives. So I can go pew pew, throw a bunch of throwing knives at people. So yeah, so that's kind of like the structure of it. You do all the missions, and you can spend time doing this, or you can just whiz through and do the main objectives as quickly as possible, at which point you won't get all the extra bits. Right, somebody else has set off an alarm. Should we see what happens when an alarm is going? I mean, it's kind of annoying, but, you know, noise-wise, but we'll see. I want to see what the extra difficulty is. Now, I mentioned the... I've not used that yet. Well, I've mentioned the fact that you get abilities. So this is my ability. Force Lightning! I have Force Lightning. I can go around Force Lightning in people, and... yeah. You've got a limited amount you can do that, but you pick up energy from those blue blobs from defeated foes. Oh, that's a thing. There's some stuff in it. Just some credits. Okay. Yeah, you can pick up stuff from. Oh, why have I not go through there? Do I need to reset the alarm before I can go back through? Yeah, sometimes it like locks down areas. Where's a terminal? There's a terminal, I think. No, that's not a terminal. That's just a. Where's a terminal? There's a terminal. It's actually telling me there's a terminal there. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, you can pick up energy, so it's like an ammo as well. So there are certain things that are ammo limited, and you can upgrade your weapons in various ways and give yourself more ammo capacity and stuff like that. But you can pick up a fair amount as well. So I've only run out of ammo once or twice. So yeah, I can see why it would get a bit repetitive doing the same things over and over to grind certain materials. I can see why people would just try and whiz through as quickly as possible, but I'm definitely not at that stage yet. So one of the best things about this game, which I've done it once or twice, but it's just the motion. It's just the ability to move around. It's a bit like the Far Cry games, where, especially as it Far Cry 4, you've got the grappling hook and the ability to just whiz all over the place and do all kinds of acrobatics, and later on you get the wingsuit, and then I think one of the DLCs has like a jetpack essentially. So yeah, this game is not dissimilar, but it's all your kind of inherent abilities to go wee, and you can slide around in ridiculous fashion. You can jump, you can do double jumps, you can also do this move here, which is actually the fastest way to get around, so you see people doing that a lot. But yeah, you can like run up to people and melee them at the same time, kind of thing. But that requires a little bit more coordination, because you just sort of melee at the end of your you know, your melee on the way past, so you have to like aim it quite carefully where you're going to. But yeah, it's all that kind of thing as well. So I think that's one of the big reasons why this game ends up being so much fun. And it kind of makes up for the fact that I'm well aware it's going to get quite grindy. It's just the fact that you can just jump around all over the place, and it's like, if I want co-op shooty blam blam kind of thing, you know, it's Payday 2. I've played a fair bit Payday 2. I quite like that game, but it just, you don't get to be a magic space ninja in Payday 2. You get to be many things in Payday 2, but not magic space ninja. So I should probably pay slightly more attention to the actual objective. I'm just exploring a bit and, you know, trying to pick up some loot. I don't know, by the way, why some of these containers are locked and some aren't. I think it might just be the fixed container locations, and then some of the containers will contain stuff, but not all, if you see what I mean. This is just a little side corridor with some stuff in. And I've got no idea, you know, what's the good stuff, what's not the good stuff. Oh, that's a thing. That's another crystal thing. Oh, and we have a follower. Thank you very much. Is that Cyan Eddie? I didn't quite see that. Yeah, so this is definitely, you know, not what you'll see somebody doing who's been playing this game a fair bit, because they'll just whiz through it as quickly as possible. Oh, you need to set the alarm off, you jerk. Oh, that's a couple of WhatsApp people. I sort of end up a bit high, forgetting I've got that. Right, oh, there's the console. It's around somewhere. If you get the button presses quick enough, you can actually do it on the first pass. Oh, in the leg. You might have noticed the ragdoll, like the bodies kind of slightly wig out sometimes with the bow, pinning them to the wall and sending the corpses flying. It's not 100% smooth, but it's entertaining enough. Right, so we need to go down this way. These are just the basic weapons, by the way. I mentioned there's like loads of weapons, and I've got some upgrades in these, but there's like improved versions of just these weapons, and then similar weapons, and then there's some wildly dissimilar weapons. There's one or two things about the interface already that I've found a little bit kind of like I wish they were a bit different. Especially when I was searching through for weapons types, there's only a couple of ways you can like, whoa, hello, you've got an area of effect thing. There's only a couple of ways you can slice and dice the options for that. I was really wanting to find out, you know, which weapons are stealthy, which weapons are silent, because that is a thing. Some weapons are silent weapons, so if you can get stealth kills, whereas if you go in with a gun, not like this isn't stealthy particularly at the moment, but you know, if you go in with a gun and kill somebody, there's no chance of it being a stealthy kill. There doesn't seem to be any silenced guns particularly, but you do get a couple of bows, crossbows, things of that nature. And, you know, you can do stealthy kills with those, but it doesn't tell you which ones are which. You have to go through and just guess which ones might be, and then check the individual stats to see if they actually are. So I find that a little bit interesting. And as the like the economy side of things, you know, I just know this game by its reputation. I honestly don't know firsthand yet. But the amount I spent on it versus the amount of premium currency I got, and that's me doing an auto dodge, by the way. It's actually a little bit annoying sometimes because it interrupts what you're doing to dodge the attack. Apparently you can parry flames. That's a thing. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so there might be things further down the line that I'm not so keen on in terms of the economy, but there was actually a thing on Jim Sterling's channel just today about Warframe and how they've changed the thing that they do that apparently some players weren't happy about, which sounded essentially like bundles. It was something like they retire every so often not old, but older Warframes, you know, characters essentially. And then they'll bring them back for players to buy for limited time offers, which is not an unusual thing for a free-to-play game to do. But they were putting everything in a bundle essentially. So even if you just wanted, say, a cape, you would have to buy the entire bundle, and that was not a popular option with the players. So that's something they've changed. This is well, I keep missing this one. Come on! Wow, my timing was so off there. Right. Yeah. So OP bow is OP. It's not, well. It's fun, but like this is oh, this is all in the piercing damage. And bearing in mind these are not particularly high level enemies. I accidentally wandered into an area where there was like level 25 enemies, and oh boy, yeah, I had to do a lot of dodging and running. It was not being particularly effective when it came to actually doing damage. But I mean, you get criticals if you manage headshots. Those of course do more damage as well. But it's a little bit harder with the bow. The aim assist just kind of pulls it slightly towards it. Those are exploding barrels, by the way. The aim assist pulls it slightly towards the target. Oh, well, that exploded the thing next to me as well. Oh, my shield's down. Woo! Oh, he's okay. This is the boss guy, and also I'm getting shot from behind, which is not very nice. It's just rude, in fact. Yeah, I'm gonna let my shields come back up. I mean, it's basically you got your shields, you got your health, and you can upgrade both of those. And I've been told with this particular character that you kind of like it's not inherently great in either regard. You have to rely a lot on upgrade slots to that auto dodge thing's so silly, to actually be effective or tanky. But we've got a decent like run up here, go zap. Doesn't quite automatically kill all of them. One thing, there we go. Right, so still got to deal with this guy, but we'll now we're full health again, or full shields anyway. You do pick up health from enemies as well. Yeah, this isn't really stealthy, is it? So this is you know, Warframe so far, as I understand it. You know, I've probably missed things. I'm sure there's things later on. Like the map is big. The amount of places you can go to is pretty big. So I've undoubtedly just like only just scratched the surface, but I can already tell something. I can already tell that they've you know, it's going to be quite grindy, quite time consuming, and I probably will definitely get to that stage of just whizzing through to pick up materials that I need to make certain things, because there's a lot of different materials, and there'll be one particular component, or there'll be a blueprint for a weapon or something, and you just need this one particular thing. And you know, you might need only 3 or 4 of them, but then you then have to go and grind through the same set of missions over and over again just to get the thing you want. That, I gotta say, I don't know how confusing this looks when I'm playing it, and when I have watched videos myself, it all seemed a bit like, oh my god, it's so frenetic. How do people come up to keep up with it? But oh, it allows myself again. But I've actually been surprised that it's relatively intuitive, and I think it helps that I'm using a controller in my case. There's a weird little, like, if you just kind of nudge the oh, I'm gonna die, except it doesn't really matter. If you fall off into a pit like that, the game just gives you a free, like, a freebie basically. You don't actually have to use one of your things. If you go down, if your health goes down below 0, that means you've died, and at that point you get a certain number of lives, essentially, a certain number of do-overs. Anyway, what was I talking about though? I've actually forgotten now. And also, I did not need to shoot that bow. It's in this locker. Oh yeah, about the pace. So yeah, it's actually, I've been surprised that it's not been that though. It's been really quite easy to get into, and because I'm using a controller, for me at least, it's a lot easier to remember a couple of buttons on a controller to press in combination, as opposed to a keyboard, which is not actually always the easiest thing to immediately get into. Did you mean to go back there? I don't think you meant to go back there. Right, the dude is in here somewhere. I've got to kill a dude. Cybreath, there is no panda mask, sadly. There's lots of customization options, but no, you do not have a panda mask. I've been able to have a panda emblem in World of Warships, which I was quite pleased by, but this game is sadly deficient when it comes to pandas. Oh, and I'm on fire. And not in a good way. I don't think I've actually picked up any health. Shield regen, it's relatively kind. I'm guessing it gets harder at a higher level. Oh, that's the guy I need to kill. But the shield regen... Whoa, yeah, he's not nice. Right. Oh, I've stunned him. Oh, yeah, that's really nasty. Oh, dear lord. Okay. Whoa, run away. 15 hit points. I took a lot of his health down, but yeah. Having said, oh, it's relatively kind so far. Yeah, okay, it's not always that nice. It does throw certain enemies at you, and this is a boss enemy, so that's partly why. Did I mean to... Oh. And I died. So this is what happens when you die. You have to spend affinity, and I think affinity is... oh, I'm out of... Okay, I'm out of my bow, my arrows, so this is why I'm going to use the knives. But yeah, you get a certain number of do-overs, and I think it does affect your final score for the level, but even if you die a couple of times, you can still do it. Anyway, so I beat the guy. And now I can just see if there's any loot. Oh. You can do full-on wall running in this game, but I've not quite figured that out yet. So, scan the glass shard. Oh yeah, that's the thing I actually came here to do. This is like the second story quest. There's the very first story quest, which is like when you fire up the game, it punts you straight into it. Oh, okay, I've got to remember, I'm using these, not the bow. But yeah, this is still like you go down to a planet and it's all set in the Sol system, you know, in the Earth's solar system. So all the places are familiar. But I don't know what the backstory is meant to be of how this universe has come about. It's a bit non-specific in that regard. Why do I have to go through to get to that chamber? Reset the... Sometimes there's like things you have to bash away, like you know, you go through ducts essentially, but you have to. It's not like the oh god, that game. You know, the one where what's his face crawls through all the ducts and it's all cyberpunk. That game. Anyway, but just like big man-sized ducts, because apparently they don't do small ducts in this game. Right, we're just gonna bash things for a while because I don't particularly like the throwing knives. They are also a silent weapon, but a bit flicky. Do I just need to Oh, maybe I just need to use the security console, and I'm a dummy. Yeah, okay, it was just I needed to use the security console, and I was a dummy. Oh, that'll be a trap. A trap! Right, can I come in from underneath? No? I can open these storage lockers, though. A bit more. I don't know why there'd just be a clump of, like, minerals in a corner, but video game logic, I guess. Maybe there's some actual, you know, cogent story reason why there would be. Is that... Okay, that's not like a pit full of... No, that's a place you're not supposed to go. Okay. I wondered if there was like another crawly hole out down there, but no, you're just not supposed to go that way. Right, oh, does this... Do I need to... Yes, there we go. So it's, I think this is more fun for the leaping around and killing things and than the actual story, honestly. I mean, there is a story, but it's all a bit kind of weird sci-fi. And right, I need to wait. How do I do this? I don't know which controller button it is. Right, I need to select my scan-a-majig, that thing, and I need to actually scan that thing. Yes? No? Oh, there we go. Wrong button.
Tenno, we've recovered all
Right,
of the
so there we go.
Heck discovered. Get to extraction.
And can I... Wait, how do I now... I did figure this out. I need to get my bow back out. No? Glyph prism. Oh, okay. That's... You can slap your avatar on the wall. I haven't actually set one, so... Okay, that's what that is. Oh. I don't know what happened there. It's all gone a bit weird. But, you know. Apparently we're going the wrong way anyway. Right, don't fall down the thing. Yeah, I don't know what that field was. And I don't know if there's anything actually here. No? Yes? Oh, I can... Just go in the... No, I want you to go in the... There we go. I was trying to be fancy and show off, and then naturally it all went nearly wrong. Because, of course... Right, how can I get my... Oh, there we go. Right. Do I have any bow ammo left? Oh, I do have some bow ammo left now. I must have picked some at some point. So, yeah, I've played it a bit with some people. Which, that helps if you're playing it with somebody you can actually talk with. How am I just on fire, randomly? Or was that just a... Was that a visual glitch? I don't know. I don't... Like, this game has run very smoothly for me so far. It's streaming, as far as I can tell, just fine. Which is no mean feat, considering my PC's not exactly super mega beefy or anything like that. My current PC anyway, obviously working on an upgrade, but is that a cable we can... Yes! You can be all Assassin's Creed and use all of the cables if you so wish. Yeah, even when like having had the graphics settings a little bit higher, it still ran very, very well. So it's just been fun, I think, is the main thing. And if it's a fun game where the devs aren't actively trying to suck all the money out of your wallet, that's a rare enough thing for you to play a game. I mean, you know, wargaming, they're not terrible. They're definitely not terrible as far as wargaming, as gaming companies go, as publishers go. But well, there we are. I think this way, maybe. But you can't deny that the stuff in wargaming titles is not cheap. It's definitely not cheap, and they have at times indulged in business practices that are not exactly the most consumer friendly. Right, we're just about done here. And oh, I'll have a look at the upgrade options. I might have missed some things, maybe, in terms of how the systems work. But I think I've got the basics figured out. I may have, you know, put in some really silly upgrades, but it seems like largely the upgrades are tied to the slot rather than specific weapons. Although there are some that are weapon specific. So this bow, for example, I did make a bit of a noob mistake. I stuck on a weapon mod which gives you an increased magazine size, except it's a bow. So it did precisely nothing except just take up an upgrade slot, essentially. But I did figure it out eventually. So, you know, it was still valid to put that on this this weapon. It will still let you do that, it just has no effect, because it doesn't actually, you know, have a magazine, because it's a bow. Hello, Corn Hub admin? Okay. Yes, I am a completely new player. So, feel free to point and laugh and go, noob, lol. Still feeling my way around this game. Right, so that's the next part of the shards thingy, and this might open the thing. There's this weird thing we found, and it's tied to the story mission we're doing, and
There's only one piece left. Hex digging in the central plains.
Oh, that actually looks like it completed it, but apparently no, we need another part.
Interesting artifacts in the region of
That crater lake where we used to fish. That place where Uncle's catch got eaten on the line by a...
oh, that massive hookta, and we had to haul him out. We spent the whole day drying his notebooks. That was a good day. I think I know where we should look. Doha, while it is dark, the Grenier...
I mean, they go on a little bit, but anyway, it's fine. So, yeah, upgrades. Like, I'm actually manufacturing a companion at the moment. There's like a basic one that you get the blueprints for that you can just, like, and that's the thing that's taking me 24 hours to manufacture, so that'll be done sometime overnight probably. But yeah, I've got now some of the non-damaged upgrades, because you start off with a bunch of ones that are kind of semi-functional and they can be upgraded a little bit but not a huge amount, and then you get the undamaged ones, and you can see that I've actually started to upgrade some of these already. So you can increase the effect, but the more they increase, the more you kind of upgrade them, the more spaces it takes up, essentially. So you can customize a fair amount how you want things to go, but I'm still, like, I don't have a huge number of them overall. This is also where you can buy new. I'm not really seeing any particularly useful. Like, I've got some upgrade spaces. I might actually be able to upgrade heated charge, I guess. Give some extra damage to these. That's the damaged version. I've got an undamaged version, but that won't actually fit in at the moment. Or Hawkeye, what does that do? Do I need extra zoom when I'm throwing these? I don't think so. I'll see my melee weapon. No, that's only got one space. Yeah, so this is where you can also, like, buy new ones. So you can actually buy the Warframes right from here. But I want to know more about the game first. I could spend some of this platinum that I've bought, because I actually got an offer. It's one of these things where they give you, you sign in every day, just like War Thunder, just like countless other games where they give you a random thing, and like the second day was 50% off your first purchase of platinum or whatever. So I thought, why the heck not? And bought 1,000 platinum for like £16. So I think I mentioned that at the start anyway. But yeah, I haven't actually decided that I probably will buy one of these at some point. And I think there's actually a player market as well. And apparently this is one of the other ways in which the game is quite nice compared to a lot of free-to-play games, is the players can sell the stuff they don't want directly to each other. It's not that you have to buy a thing straight from the dev for, with the face cost. You can actually see if somebody's selling it for cheaper. So yeah, there's all of these different Warframes, and this isn't even all the Warframes that are in the game. These are just the ones you can buy at the moment, because as I mentioned earlier, they do seem to rotate out ones every so often. So but they all have different, like, themes, different abilities, and this is just like the base look as well. And it's kind of like, I don't know, League of Legends or one of those games, and you can just massively customize, and you got alternate skins and all kinds of things. They're all a bit like... Everything's slightly strangely organic looking, and I think that ties into what this universe is supposed to be. But if you're thinking these are going to be hulking mechanical suits, which I kind of did when I first heard of Warframe, yeah, it's not that at all. It's these kind of slightly melted looking, weird, almost chitinous suits of armor, or I still don't know. Are the Warframes like armored suits, or is it like some kind of robot thing, or are they, I don't know, engineered creatures? I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, I'm sort of hoping that some more experienced player might turn up in the comments section, which I don't know, maybe that's Cornhub admin here, and explain what's what. But I'm not going to get the viewers that Circon got when he was playing this. So yeah, and like there are one or two weapons already I've spotted which I actually would kind of like. So I've got some available already, and some of them are awfully expensive. Although, having said that, like you've got some, there are some that you just buy with the like the in-game currency, and then there's some that you can buy with the premium currency. But well, having said some of them are awfully expensive, actually I don't know what the higher rank ones are, but I'm guessing they're more expensive. But yeah, there's various other bows which look cool. So that's like the upgraded version of the bow I've got, like the starting bow. There's bows that have different things. So this is a bow that has more impact damage as opposed to like puncture damage. All metal suits that are made up of a chassis system and your optics. Okay, so it is actually supposed to be a human person that's kind of controlling these things remotely. That's interesting to know. There's a whole, like, you go in the bridge and there's a whole codex that tells you various things, and I've glanced at some of the things so far, but yeah. Some of the primary weapons are kind of funky looking. So, like this, for instance, automatic crossbow, and this is a silent weapon, so, you know, that would be fun at some point, but there's going to be a lot of grinding involved before I can get to something like that, I suspect. But there was a big-ass warhammer somewhere that looked fun. Where was that? Let's have a look. I can't actually find that now. No, these are all the... Oh, because it's a melee weapon, and I'm looking at the projectile weapons. Duh. Yeah, some of the melee weapons, like the melee weapons are broadly swords, gloves. You've got dual-wielded swords, single swords. You've got various fighting staffs. You've got daggers. That's a kind of another kind of glove. You've got some slightly more exotic things like this kind of electro whip taser majig. I don't even know what that looks like when you're using it. You can literally use a sword and shield if you want. And you can see the prices here as well in platinum. So, you know, 1,000 platinum will take you relatively far in terms of, like, you could buy a Warframe or two, you could buy a couple of weapons, you could unlock some more customization options for those weapons. So that's not bad for £16, except the £16 was half off. Remember that. I should have pointed that out at the very start. But where was it? There was a big ass... oh, here we go. This thing looked cool. I want to run around with a big electric warhammer, but there's other kinds of warhammer things as well. So yeah, there's a nice looking variety of weapons and like big dual wield swords, and I don't even know what the heck is that? Razor sharp flan blades. Well, that looks completely sensible. So the weapons are very much in the same aesthetic. Some of them look a bit more kind of technological, and they tend to be ones, I guess, that are more like that you've taken from various enemies, kind of thing, that belong to the various factions in the game. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not like I've Daniel Breedlove, I've jumped in buying the premium currency, and then I'm going to be a little bit more cautious about actually spending that until I figure out a bit more about the game and figure out what I want, because I can see myself playing this a bit, even if it was only just doing 1 or 2 rounds a day, because you know it's a bit of fast-paced action. It's quite nice to be able to leap around like that. That was one of my favourite parts of the Far Cry games. And not Far Cry, Just Cause. I said Far Cry earlier, didn't I? I meant Just Cause. Just Cause 3. And I didn't so much like the story or some of the other bits of Just Cause 3, but the actual moving around the map was really cool. Right, let's have a look, see how we're doing with the thing. Right, that has got 3 hours left to go. Okay. And as you can see there, you can actually pay platinum to do that, but we're not going to do that. That's fine. Why do you picture me with equipped with a feather duster and a pea shooter? A literal pea shooter, just a tube. This is a Codex, by the way, which lets you keep track of your current quests, and then you can actually just use it to look up various things, like factions and whatever. But as you can see, you know, I've not gotten very far in the story, so I don't have access to a lot at the moment. I think you actually... I guess you actually have to scan everything to... No, some things are available, okay. But I'm guessing it seems like at least some things you have to actively go out into the world and scan them in order to be able to have them available in the Codex. So, I'll just do another thing, I guess. There's not a lot else to do at the moment. And we'll have a go seeing what it's like with public matchmaking again, because I was thinking the last one, well, it'd be a bit sneaky, and it kind of worked with the first bit, and then not so much after that. Right, locate the final fragment. We'll choose that, and it'll just auto find people or auto put me into another instance of somebody else playing it. Once you update a non-item, it will show up in your Codex unlocked. Okay, alright, that's good to know. I don't know what kind of, like, what would the pointy-haired Jedi Warframe be like? I'd probably have, like, a... I don't even know what would be my weapons of choice. But the head obviously would be shaped like a, you know, like an AMX-40 turret kind of thing. Right, this is the biggest open world planet area that I've been on so far. This is back on Earth, and there's actually whoa, yeah, it's struggling a bit. There's a settlement which is kind of cool, and you can that's like a multi-instance where you can see other players wandering around in their own warframes. But this was where I had issues earlier on when I was just playing without even being an OBS of it struggling a bit with the frame rate, so it might struggle a bit with the frame rate because most of the other areas are much more enclosed, as you saw. I don't know what the guy's shouting about, but it's probably nothing good.
Krunameta. The Eidolons are all that remains of the great sentient destroyed here. At night, its spirit rises and haunts, a mindless beast trying to rebuild itself. Watch out.
So run away seems to be the... Well, that's some of the Grineer guys, I think. Right, this is where I can be a bit sneaky. I don't know how much lead you need with the bows exactly, but... Oh, not that much. It's been a little hard to judge when doing distance shots. It's a lot easier when they're standing still, obviously, but... yeah, so I don't know what that is. Some kind of beacon? Oh, there's some stuff here I can... Whoa, hello! Oh, it's like a geezer! Oh, okay. That was fun. They will just, randomly, like these things here, or you'll see them getting dropped off by dropships. But you also just encounter them wandering around in the world. So the Grineer seem to be the main bad guy faction, but they're not the only one. Oh, there's a little cave there. Right, why have I got a thing on my leg? That's probably not good. The glowy thing that... Yeah, okay, it's an explodey homing bomb or something. Is there another person there, or is that somebody that died that threw that? Anyway, so if we see an Eidolon thing, run away. It is purely co-op Opahik. Well, I say purely co-op. Actually, that's not true. Payday 2 is purely co-op. There is an option to fight other players. There is like a PvP mode.
Take cover. Your Warframe is no match for that thing.
Whoa. Okay, apparently we have to not get shot by the thing. The Grineer apparently are attacking it. Or something. Oh, that's a big thing. Yeah, that's a level 50 big thing. We'll stay away from the level 50 big thing. Because the level 50 big thing is maybe a little bit too big for me.
The beast is drawn to the grenier. Can you get to the excavation site? It has
So
to be
I'm
in
using them as a distraction, apparently. So yeah, you can do PvP. It's kind of, I guess it's sort of like RuneScape, where there was PvP, but you had to explicitly go and seek out PvP areas, essentially. There's probably a lot of other games where the PvP is kind of like an explicitly separate section. There's probably a lot of RPGs and whatever else that do that as well. Having said that, you know, RuneScape, even RuneScape, yeah, I don't know what that is. That's obviously an RPG, kind of. What would you call that an RPG though? I don't know. What the heck would you even call RuneScape? There is like a power sprint thing, but yeah, this particular motion, this move is apparently the quickest way. Although I don't always rather get the button presses quite correct. Oh, this is a different cave entrance than I saw earlier. So yeah, sometimes I end up doing not quite the right move. Right, so we have to get in scanner thing, I guess. Here's something in here. Nothing unfriendly. I don't know. Anyway, right, so we have to move rock. With my mind! With the power of my mind! As obviously, you know, I can do, because I'm a Jedi, right? Right, so let's see if I can remember which controller button it is. There we go. Right, so
there's another way out of that cave.
now I just have to get out of here, I think. I would guess.
Pull you out. Get to the extraction point.
I've no idea who the lady with the big mask is, by the way. She seems to be your boss slash queen slash I don't even know. But yeah, I haven't actually met her yet. I don't know if you ever do during the course of this, but she just talks to you every so often, tells you what's going on, where to go, who to kill, and so on and so forth. I don't know what that is. That's a rather interesting looking... that's obviously an encampment of some... Well, it's probably like a Grenier thing. I probably shouldn't go charging into the middle of, because they will kill you just on the basis of them being quite a lot of them. You probably played this one several years ago. It's been around a while, Chaser. Apparently it's changed quite a lot in the time it has been around. Anyway, so this should be... I don't know how many more parts there are to this story mission. Right, so... yeah, even using the controller, it's a little bit awkward. There are sections where I need to reach over and use the mouse anyway. It's not completely possible to only use a plugged-in controller.
I'm ready. Open the box.
So that's the last part of the thing, and we've opened a thing, and inside there's a
Kept by flower.
thing.
Oh, Uncle.
Okay.
You always told me I should try following my heart instead of my head. Shola, I guess it's time I did.
Alright, I have no idea of the significance of that, but okay. Quest complete, so there we go. Oh, I need to actually use the mouse, apparently.
Using Saya's idea, I pulsed Anko's glass we recovered with a frequency sweep. It took some time to decode the harmonics in the signal, but there was something there. A blueprint for Gera, the one they called the Glass Warrior. This is what Anko was protecting. Resurrect Gera, that she might protect Cetus once more.
Okay, alright. Does this just lead on to another quest then, or it'll tell me in the Codex? Maybe? I don't know. it'll flash up on the screen, presumably where I need to go for that, which is what these things up here are generally. Next objectives. This is the next kind of story quest. Reactivate the solar rail by... Haven't I already done that? I'm sure I've already done that. I have no idea what any of this means. Like half the stuff I don't actually know yet, and I think this might be PvP stuff, but again, no idea. Right, so I've done the Venus thing. I've already... Yeah, there we go. Oh, it briefly flashed up on the screen. That's helpful. There we go. Right, so we need to defeat Jackal at Fossa, and I've done the rest, apparently. So where is Fossa? Fossa is there. How do I get to there? Okay, I need to do that one and then that one. You see on the map, you basically, like, the missions are all kind of... You have to unlock things in sequence. So if I want to get to there, I have to do this one and I have to do this one. And then that'll unlock the junction to the next planet. And you can, like, even from Earth, you can actually go off in 2 directions. So it's not completely linear. We've got a Mars junction up there as well. And to unlock different planets, you actually have to defeat a boss every time, essentially. So, yeah. So, Venera capture. Okay, let's try that. Chaser, I honestly have no idea. I know it didn't take me very long to pick up. I kind of fumbled my way through the first couple of missions. One particular annoyance when I first started was that the mouse, the cursor sensitivity at 100% is way too high. And I had to pause it in the middle of the first fight, which doesn't actually stop them firing at you. To tweak the mouse sensitivities, because otherwise it was just literally unplayable. Right, this is a very familiar location already. They do seem to use a lot of the same, or reuse a lot of the same areas over and over. And it's the different factions have got their own decor, so the starting areas especially, I think, are relatively similar. So this locker room I've been in multiple times already, but coming out the door, it's actually already starting to look a bit different. Oh, it's a headshot, apparently.
We cannot let our target know we're here. Track them down.
Try and be a little bit sneaky.
Your business is appreciated.
Oh, and a follow from Gimele. I didn't quite catch the name there. It's a little hard to read on my little preview screen that I've got on my second monitor. Whoa, hello. Got a big pause for a second there. Don't know why. Oh, and, well, there we go. We've got another human player. And there's me being, oh, I'll be cautious and sneaky, and this person just, like, completely blasting through to go as fast as possible. Because that's what you do. So, yeah, this is what it's like with other people, essentially. Well, that's a rather funky looking... I've no idea who that character is, who that suit is. But, wow. So we're basically done already? They just, like, nailed it. Yeah, I'm just, like, derping around trying to find my way through half of these levels, and, you know, you get somebody that does the whole thing in 3 seconds flat, it feels like. So if you want to explore, then you kind of have to do it solo, but if you want to do it quickly, you can have the open public matchmaking. Right, so, yeah, they're already there, and I've already got, like, still got, like, a kilometre to go, for crying out loud. So, this is the part where I start to look like a complete noob. So, I don't know, we might do 1 or 2 more with public matchmaking, but I might just do 1 or 2 more solo instead, because, yeah, I'll just end up making people wait. Although, there are some, actually, that, they're like wave defense levels, where those are actually more fun with a group of people, because you just get more enemies coming at you and you can all cover different areas. I don't know, I think there's a thing for killing, like if you kill enough cameras it's an achievement or something, I don't know. Right, I don't know how the heck this person got there so damn quickly, unless they've got some ability that lets them just move ridiculously fast. Alright, I didn't even get to the exit. I think the game just got bored of me, you know. I think there must be a mechanic where it doesn't make a player wait for too long.